Welcome back to Shed Creations. Thanks for joining me again. So I thought I'd recorded the intro for this video, but I can't seem to find it anywhere. So this one is starting off just after I've cut the wood down to size. The table is now roughly the size the customer wants, but I'll explain more about this in the next bit. Thanks for watching and enjoy the video. Also, while you're here, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're liking what you're watching, also don't forget you can share the videos with your friends and loved ones. Help grow the channel. Much appreciated. Enjoy the video. Thanks. Yeah, so the table, like I just said, is done this way. Reason being is the customer wants the table to be a certain size, but they still wanted to have as much of the full size scaffold boards as they could. Now unfortunately, because it is only going to be 70 centimetres sort of deep from front to back, or whichever way you want to call it, it's only going to be 70 centimetres this way. It's hard to cut to work it out unless I cut all of the boards down into strips, and then I could have made it look a bit different. But because they wanted to keep full size boards as much as possible, I've chosen to do it this way. They do still have to go through the tabletop planer, so that will close these joints up, and obviously then that will bring it down that little bit more, closer to the 70 centimetre finish. I'm then going to obviously slot for the edges, so again that will bring it in even that little bit more to get to where we want to be. The length pretty much is going to stay the same. Obviously I will tidy up the ends, I'll run my circular saw over it. As you can see, I don't have a lot of space in this workshop, so I can't run the table through on the table saw to clean that up. So we're not far off being finished really. There's still more time taken up in the glue up. I'm still experimenting with some finishes and stuff as well. I've got pretty much the finish the customer wants, but there's one that I want to play around with in my own head just to see what it looks like, or not in my own head, even I want to play around with that I've got in my head that I want to put onto a piece of one of these boards that I've got of an offcut. See what the finish comes out, see if it actually nails what the customer really truly wants. So yeah, thank you for staying with us. I'll get back to you when we're in the glue up stages. Right, so trying to get a little bit more prepared at the moment. Got the clamps out, got everything all jointed up the best it's going to be, and I didn't show you that part just because it is so awkward to do anything this sort of size in this size workshop and still trying to film it with the benchtop planer and stuff in that as well. This is the real challenge, and it's just easier and quicker for me to do this way. So all of those you're disappointed for not seeing that bit, I do apologise. You have seen me use my joint in that before. You can watch some of the other videos. I show as much as I can, always do, always like to, but sometimes it's just not possible. But we are getting there at least. There's a lot of progress. Still a lot more to be had. Like I said, we're getting there, so it's all good. No grumbles. So as I showed you in the last clip, that's how it's going to be. So a small piece, full size board, small, full size board, and then a small piece again. Did go a little bit over the top with the glue on a couple of these bits, but it's not the end of the world. I want to make sure this is not going to be coming apart, as it's for a very important family member of mine, I want to make sure it stays together for the longest time. Where we take it out of the clamps and then hope it actually is still relatively flat. Well, there will be a bit of sanding to be done, but well, I say a bit, there's going to be a lot of sanding. But we have something at least resembling a tabletop. Now I know it's not level completely, a lot of sanding stuff to do to it, but on the whole I'm not too sad about how it turned out actually. It does have a slight twist to it. By the time it's all sanded, hopefully that will flatten out a bit more. So that's the next step. I'm gonna get me belt sander rigged up and then just starting to crack on with it. But at least it stay together. You guys get the gist of what I'm doing. So I'm gonna come back to you once I've got it down to the next stage, once I've got it all flattened and I'm ready for the next load of sanding. Let you see how it's going. Catch you soon. Right. Okay. So we're carrying on with this table now. As you can see, I've got some slots cut out here and there for these metal bars that I've got to go into. I'm going to screw them in, but I'm only going to leave them loose. That one's still sticky. I'm only going to leave them loose just because I do want to allow the wood movement. So I've made the holes a little bit bigger than what they need to be, and obviously I'm not going to do them crazily tight to the table either, just because, like I say, I want to allow that wood movement. So that's the best bit for it. The bottom is pretty much, I think, ready to seal now, or ready to put a stain on. I've sanded it to the point where I'm happy. Obviously it's going to be the bottom, and I've got the bottom to a state that's pretty much the same as the top, so I'm really happy with it. So I'm going to put a stain on this side next. The stain the customer has chosen to use is this Briar Wax Dark Oak. So that's what will be applied to this. I'm going to give a coat to this, I'm going to turn it over, carry on sanding, and I'm going to get the top a little bit fine. I'm going to take it down a little bit further, probably end up stopping about 220, 240, somewhere around about that, and then giving that a coat. This will then have a second coat, and the top, depending on how it's finished, what it comes up like, will have a second, potentially a third coat. So bottom's only going to have two, and it is more sealed, but I want to get the wax right inside these crevices as well, just because I don't want to leave any spot open to moisture. I know there will get some moisture in somewhere, but if I seal it up as best I can, I think that's my best option. So let me just quickly give this side another hoover off, and then we'll get applying. Now, that's the only pain in such a small shop like this, is being able to move around, but we're getting there, so I'm happy. Really cool to see the transformation when you do this sort of thing. One of the parts I really enjoy. Those gloves ain't lasting, are they? So that's that side got its first coat, and I'm really happy with how that's turning out. So from here on, I'm going to put the bars in it now, I'm going to screw them down, and then I'm going to turn it over and work on the other side. Let's get going. Don't forget, if you want to follow me outside of YouTube, I do have an Instagram, there is a Facebook page as well. I've got all that going on, so you can go over there and have a look. It's all under the same name, Shed Creations, so please feel free to go and join us. I do post Not as often as I'd like to, but I do post up on there as much as I can. Try and keep things going. I've got to try and get some more videos up on here as well for you guys. I know it's all a bit slacking at the minute, but that's because there's a lot of stuff going on in the background. So hopefully I'll be able to let you know a bit more on that soon. So it's on a low setting so it don't go too mad torquing those screws in. And don't forget, if there's anything that you would like to see me build, again as always, bear in mind it's a small workshop. So if there's anything you guys would like to see me build, then throw it over in the comments or send me a message. You know, I'm open to most sort of things really, whether it be a different bit of furniture to build, different style of furniture that you build, even down to a tool review. Some of the tools that I've got in here, if you want to know anything about any of them, where I get my tools from, what sort of tools, what brands I use. Comment, let me know. Help me grow the channel a little bit. The more interaction I've got from you guys, the more I understand what you guys want to see. That way I can then tailor it a little bit more to what you guys like. If you don't want to see me just keep building things, and like I say, you want to do a tool review, I'm happy to do that, by all means. As I said before, if there's anyone out there that wants me to build something for them, a collaboration with anyone, again, hit me up, let me know. I've got some resin projects coming up soon. Are you guys interested in any of that? Wooden resin, or just resin? Any tips that you can give me on it, or anything you would ask me in how I do things? Because I'm sure anyone who's been watching for a while now might have learned I don't always do things the way everyone else does. One little tip I give is when I'm putting all my tools away, my cordless tools, or anything that has a forward and backwards motion, is to set it in the middle so it can't be triggered off. Because if you accidentally, like me, sometimes put it in the storage, or if you have a tool bag that you put it in and all of a sudden that button's being pushed, your battery's draining down before you know it. Put it in the middle, saves all that hassle. So for the moment, wax is being put away. I'm going to give this a sand down again. I want to get it down to a much finer grit, just so it leaves the top a really nice finish. Get rid of any swirl marks, everything else. Quick question before we move on to the next step. When you put the wax on for you guys, do you put anything on top? or do you leave it just as the wax, give it a good buffing and leave it at that? But would you guys put anything on top? Would you guys put a polyacrylic or anything else on top? If you would, let us know. Teach me something. Should I put something on top of this to help protect it? Obviously it's going to be a dining table, so it's going to have hot food on it, it's going to have drinks on it, hot and cold. What would you guys do? Let me know. I know what I'm going to do. I know what the customer wants me to do, so I know the direction I'm heading to with this one. But for the next projects, or for anyone else who's watching, or anyone else who's commenting, share the information, share the knowledge. It's how we all grow. Right, so I'm going to catch you back at the next stage, which is when we finish sanding and we're applying the actual stain itself now. So I'm going to crack on, and I'll see you shortly. Alright, so here we are. Top's absolutely finished down to the last final grit that I wanted to go with it. So now, as you can see, we're starting to stain, or starting to give it the first coat of wax. I think it's a bit warm in my workshop today, so all the wax is melted. So I suppose it means getting in the grain a lot easier doing it this way. So if you're wondering what the crashing is on the roof, it's conkers from the tree that's right next to my shed, right next to my workshop. So that's the first coat done on this top side, and I must say I'm really liking how it looks. Give another close up, give it a buff over as well. There we go. So the table, for my part anyway, at least, is finished. I'm not sure I'm going to give it another coat, if I'm honest, just because I don't know whether it's going to make it any darker. I think it might make it a bit too dark, so I think I might leave it as is. This is more along the lines of what the customer wanted, so I think I might leave it as is, or I might try the other side first to see if I had another coat to the other side, because that will be dry by now as well, what it will be like. It's got the metal bits in place, but I ain't worried about that because the wax at the moment is quite runny. That'll work straight off. But I'm really liking it. I'm happy with it. Always forget where I got my bloody phone. I take pictures as I'm going along for the customer, just so I can then send them a bit of an update, let them know what's going on and what it looks like. So like I was saying anyway, that's my part essentially done. That's all the customer wanted me to do, is make them a tabletop. They've got a set of legs that they've ordered from somewhere. It's a bespoke set of metal legs I believe they've ordered. I know they were up in the air about which ones they were going to go for, but they've got them on order. So once this gets to the customer and the legs are put on and it's in place, I'll take some pictures and add them on to the end of the video. And to show you what they look like. If I don't get around to adding them on to the end of this video, what I'll do, I'll put together another little short video with the actual finished pictures on, just so you guys can keep updated as well. Just so I don't know how long it's going to take for the legs to come in, and I'd like to get this video up and finished for you guys, because it's been a while since I posted. I'll keep saying it, but there will be an upcoming video in relation as to what's made me have a bit of a delay in what I'm posting. But for now, that's it. See you on the next one. Good happy days.